911, what are you reporting?
I'm reporting we have some people that are not releasing our kid. I'm the parent, they are friends, and they're not releasing our kid. The kid did not make it to school today. Yeah, Wayne Jenke and Doris Strand, Strand.
What is your name?
Ronald D. Simon, Simon.
Was vaccine them coming?
Primarily our family is Ron, my husband of 20 years or so, my daughter Megan, who's 23 and is from a prior marriage, my son, who is Ron's and my son, and that's our family.
Well, to begin with, the people that were involved with us that we considered friends, I had worked at Albertsons with this person and considered her to be almost like part of the family.
Neither one of us have this huge family background, but we do have friends. He has a friend named Doris, and she worked at Albertsons for 40 years. We did holidays together, Thanksgiving, Christmas, cookie bakes. We traveled to Arizona. We traveled to California together for vacations.
When Christopher was born in 2001, we felt that it was important for them to enjoy Christopher in their life as well as ours, being that they had no children. Over the years, we thought we were doing the right thing by allowing Christopher to do things with them, and as far as going hunting or fishing, things that I normally didn't do. I have never hunted in my life, and giving him those opportunities that I never had, and he seemed to enjoy.
They wanted to glom on to Christopher and spend some time with him. I didn't know that they had done this to another previous couple, by the way, another previous person, and that resulted in the person walking away with their kids, saying there was way too many problems, but we didn't know about that until our court action.
Together with these people, I attended every baseball game, every soccer practice, every soccer game, every open house for school, every teacher's conference, 42 orthodontist appointments, 6 years of karate, and towards the end I even got on the floor with him and took karate, physically took karate with him.
They try to represent themselves as a couple, but they're not. As far as we're concerned, they're not.
What happened was, while we were thinking that we were all friends and helping out, uh, having a village effort and a friendship that everybody could enjoy, raising Christopher, we later found out that they were undermining our efforts to be parents from the time he was 8 years old, teaching him to lie to us, teaching him to deceive us. He was supposed to be he was in Cub Scouts. Rather than him doing the things that the Boy Scouts were supposed to be doing, he was out doing other things with these people that we had trusted for I don't know how many years and had helped out for how many years. Things began to change when this person that we considered a friend actually ended up inheriting some money after his father had passed. All of a sudden, they took a proactive approach to undermine everything that we did.
The will and trust was changed 3 days prior to the trust, and he testified that he ended up with a lot or most of the assets, and his brother got cut out. So while the father's dying on hospice, the trust is getting changed, or the will is getting changed. The paperwork's getting changed. It's been testified to.
We did not realize it, but they had bought him a jet ski at the age of between 10 and 11. 3 months after this person's dad died, they told him not to tell us. They had bought a place out at the lake and told him not to tell us. They had signed him up for a rifle shooting class and told him to tell us that he was going to Boy Scout outings. We booked a cruise to Alaska, and out of our own son's mouth, he told us that we couldn't afford to go, which was a direct result of what they were trying to teach him. And we took him to Alaska. He had the time of his life. Him and I went zip lining together. We went on different excursions and everything else. Signed him up for the kids club and had an excellent time, which I believe was the reason when we came back from Alaska and it got towards the holidays, this guy ended up wanting to one-up us again, booked him on a cruise to Hawaii. And without permission, without talking with us, and I wouldn't okay it. We wouldn't okay it. We said no, We realized that they were kind of overstepping our parental rights there, and we asked them to stop doing that. Thinking that we had the parental rights to do that, it was hard to believe that. We found out later that he was going to school, that my wife was taking him to school early, and he said he was working with a teacher. Well, that's when we found out that he was working on the Child in Need of CHIN's petition, Child in Need of Services, so they can undermine us once again, saying that we weren't taking care of him, we weren't feeding him, we had drug and alcohol problems and everything else. And I went in and they said, oh, he's in back working with the teacher. He'll be out in a little while. And I sat there for about 10-15 minutes, and all of a sudden one of the school security people came out and handed me a restraining order restraining me from my son. When I got the restraining order, I thought, they can't do this. They have no business, they have no authority to take my child and restrain me from my child.
I received paperwork on March 24th of 2015 that I had a drug problem that wasn't true. I walked out my door when I got the papers, went to a lab, I took a test, and the test was clean. And I've taken more drug tests since then, and they've never managed to bring up a positive drug test. This is a spontaneous, court-appointed, court-level drug test that was absolutely clean. We showed up in Chin's court, and we didn't understand what was happening because we were fit parents. We were totally ruled as fit parents even through this whole process. They walked into Chin's court and they had our son make allegations against us, and when they couldn't get where they were going, they ran across the street to Superior Court and they filed the de facto parentage and third-party custody and told the commissioner that they needed to get our son on a cruise, that they had bought him a ticket to get him on a cruise alone with Wayne Janke, and that the ship was leaving. And so they said that they would address this issue when they came back from the trip, and that he was to call a couple times. So while we thought we were busy letting them do things with our child and be part of a village, we didn't know that they were collectively doing things behind the scene, like filing false CPS reports and not getting what they wanted to get. CPS never said to take our child. CPS testified 3 times in our behalf, and they have no idea why we don't have our child.
For the first year and a half of fighting, I'm thinking, why are we going through all of these court proceedings when we've never done anything wrong? There's never been a investigation from Child Protective Services. There's never been a police allegation for abuse. There's never been anything from the school investigation saying that that you have done something wrong with your child.
As a reunification therapist, I provided extensive service to the family in preparation for Christopher's eventual return. That included going so far as to hold sessions inside the Simons home, where I very invasively went through their food, their cabinets, made sure everything was safe. They prepared Christopher's space to reflect his updated age in terms of developmental appropriateness of it. We reviewed all sorts of plans to ensure Christopher's safety and everybody's wellness in the home. Everyone participated except for Christopher, unfortunately. Doris Strand and Wayne Janke, both individually on separate occasions, assured me that they were going to provide Christopher for the court-ordered visits, and they did not follow through.
Every chance we did try to do to reintegrate him into our house or reunify was blocked by the guardian ad litem, or the judge, and the people that took him.
After extensive work providing sessions to prepare for reunification, especially with sensitivity to that aggressive date Judge Moreno had selected, September 2nd of the same summer, the guardian ad litem, Miss Kim Campbell of Witherspoon Kelly Law Firm in Spokane, had issue with me being on the case, and together with Judge Marianne Moreno had me removed from the case, even though the law called for the GAL to be removed in the event that there was a conflict. Unfortunately, the conflict that was cited was a conflict that Witherspoon Kelly had such involved themselves in my career and my life and had been working to harm Empowering Inc. services. Of course, the Simons and I did not know this at the time, but as I was removed from the case and the end of their reunification process was seemingly completely sabotaged, Judge Marianne Moreno removed me from the case and did not provide the Simons with another reunification therapist.
We had 3 reunification specialists, very highly talented, professional 3 reunification specialists. They all said that we were wonderful parents, that we loved our son, that we did the work to get him home, that we cared very much about him, that we were wonderful parents. One of them said that they could see no legal reason that we didn't have our son and that he should be returned. Still, we have no son.
And we figured once it went to trial, the truth would come out and it would be over. Well, they did go to trial. The truth did come out. The judge said there were 14 untrue statements that went with Christopher being placed in their home. However, it had been so long that he had been there that he was attached.
CPS said that my son was being groomed. Over the years, we all bought him things, but towards the middle, they started buying bigger items, bows and arrows, guns, which I'm told that a lot of times when there's grooming done, the man buys the boy manly toys and sucks him into being able to go do those things so that he can only have those items when he's with the male. They were very concerned about the relationship between him and the child. They walked into court, filed an action to get my son on a cruise alone in a 1-bed cabin with a 60-plus-year-old male. We had attorneys testifying, the guardian ad litem, an attorney, testified that she met with our son prior to there ever being a case. How is that? Our son had a 3.7 grade point average. He was highly accommodating in his school. He was well regarded. By the time he was done, he had missed over 200 days of school. His grade point was below a 2, and the courts were blaming us for him not being in school, even though I was not allowed to see him. There was a list of like 10, 15 things that the judge said that they lied about us. Our attorney sent us an email that stated that when the opposing counsel brought the paperwork into his office, that he said that they were going to make a lot of money off of this case. And then later he ran into him at the courthouse and that he said that again. We spent $350,000 or so that we presented to the courts in just attorney bills. We spent another $70,000 going to the Washington State Bar, trying to get them to do something about the corruption amongst the attorneys. After the whistleblower came forward and after she submitted her paperwork, she brought very clear evidence that there was collusion between the judge, the GAL, and the attorneys. Had the whistleblower not came forward and called us or messaged me and said, hey, I contacted your attorneys and they didn't get back to me. Let's go have a meeting with them and see what's going on here. We wouldn't have known about the collusion.
I was assigned to an attorney in that firm named Kimberly Camel around the end of June of 2017. Ms. Camel was a guardian ad litem, a GAL, in the Strand and Simon matter. Of course, I reviewed the whole case history. Ms. Camel, while at the Spokane Superior Court, unannounced and without notice or a scheduled appointment, stopped by Judge Marino's chambers to discuss the status of the Simon case. When Ms. Camel came back, she told me that Judge Marino wants Ms. Camel to file a declaration stating there have been no visits since the last visit and no one has contacted her. Once we file the declaration, Judge Marino would be able to file her final order. Ms. Camel instructed me to not include a statement that we were filing the declaration per the instruction of Judge Marino, or any information regarding the ex parte conversation with Judge Marino, as it was technically considered ex parte communication. Ms. Camel said to me she was instructed by Judge Marino to file a declaration informing the court there had been no visits with the Simons and their son, that no party had been in contact with Ms. Camel. My state of mind was that Ms. Camel's ex parte communication with Judge Marino and Judge Marino's instruction to Ms. Camel were harmful to the Simons and illegal. I emailed Ms. Camel seeking instructions for drafting Ms. Camel's declaration that Camel indicated was ordered by Judge Marino. I have concerns about the conduct of Ms. Camel and Judge Marino, that it was unethical, intentional, illegal, and was performed with full knowledge of the harmful impact it may have on the Simons. Kim Camel's declaration, filed at the request of Judge Marino to update the court regarding the status of the case, is not truthful. Due to the irreconcilable differences, I removed myself from any further dealings with Witherspoon Kelly, and I terminated my employment on December 6, 2017.
I never understood why I wasn't part of my parents' case. When my brother was essentially kidnapped, at that time I was an adult. I could pass a background check with flying colors. I was mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy, employed, and a full-time student on honor roll, and I was never considered for temporary custody of my brother, when I feel that I was completely capable of ensuring his health and safety and would have his best interest in mind. It has been a very traumatizing experience watching my family suffer. I mean, Ron's never even had a parking ticket, and he lost his only son. And it was really hard it's still really hard to watch my family fall apart.
Justice was not served. Christopher doesn't have a relationship with his sibling, Megan, any longer. His sister is a talented social worker that's an adult that wasn't even considered for his placement. Ron and Teresa Simon will never have the time raising their son again. It's done. And still justice in the system has not been served.
We have a litany of lies that were presented to the court, yet we still don't have our son. There's no accountability. We won at trial. The judge said that they should have checked out why they even bothered to take him with no adequate cause hearing to even tell us why they took him, yet we still have no son. All they say is that they came and they took our son and they kept him for so long that they have to continue to keep him.
We have been to court more times than he will ever realize fighting for him. We've done all that we could do to try to get him back into our life, and the people that we trusted the most and the system that we trusted the most failed us.
I still don't have my kid. I haven't seen my kid but for 13 minutes one time in 5 years, and an hour and 45 minutes one time with a supervised doctor there.
Our life before this happened was a good life. We had big holidays. We tried to include everybody in on the holidays.
We love our son. And we'll always love our son. This isn't his fault. He didn't ask for this. He had no understanding of what was coming. He was a 13-year-old boy.
We had no idea that our friends were betraying us. We had no idea that they were manipulating him to do things that he did not even realize he was doing.
If I can get my son to know that we never stop fighting for him, that we love him, we will always love him.
If I could say anything to my brother, it would be that I love you dearly, Christopher.